Okay. Sorry, everybody. I guess I am live. So, right, I'm just going to get right to it then. Make sure, just give me 1 second. I'm sorry I came on late, you guys, today. I had a little bit of technical difficulty, of course, amongst some other things. Geez, when you feel so prepared and then like things go awry, but you just got to show up anyways. Like I forgot my notes, so I don't ramble today. So I apologize if I do ramble. And yeah, it was just a little bit hairy scary this morning, and my internet connection was not coming through. Anyway, but we're here and we are ready to go. I'm just gonna double check that I am live. But if you are watching live, go ahead and type live in the comments. And if you're going to be catching the replay, type replay in the comments. So I know you're here and I know you are ready to rock. All right. So I just want to, like I said, it's just going to double check that we're all good here in the group. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So welcome. Happy Wednesday. Glad to have you here at the Savvy Spa Boss Live. If you don't already know, we're going to be showing up here at 10 a.m. as long as things always align. We got here a little bit late today, but typically we're going to be here at 10 a.m. every Wednesday Eastern Standard Time. So now, if you're watching, and our goal is to be here every day for the rest of 2019, I almost said 2018, and beyond. So I want to thank you, whether you're going to be watching live or watching the replay. I want to thank you for joining us. Now, today is week 2, and on today's live, we are going to be going, it's part 1 of a 3-part social media series. I'm so excited about this, you guys, because you all are, so many of you are struggling with social media and creating a plan and staying consistent and figuring out how to turn your social media into money, basically. And I see it time and time again as people are coming into the Spa Boss Facebook group, and I ask you, what are your top 3 struggles? And you guys, probably 8 times out of 10, maybe 9 times out of 10, social media is one of the pain points. It's crazy. So this is why it was so important for me to tackle this subject. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Susan O'Sullivan. I'm a spa owner. I am the creator of Spa Temps, the only on-demand staffing platform that is making its way slowly but surely to an area near you. And I'm also the creator of the 12-week Spa Boss Bootcamp. I help spa owners and estheticians and other wellness professionals and business owners in general just take their businesses to the next level. So I am so happy to be here today. We're going to dive into the content, and then we're going to open it up to Q&A. So if you have a question about social media or about anything, put it into the comments, and if I'm able to answer live today, I will, or we can continue the conversation over in the the Spa Boss Money Mindset Marketing Facebook group. So the other thing, we are doing a giveaway today, and today's giveaway, there's going to be 2 winners. So we're giving away another Truby Beauty lip balm and a little serum sampler set of one of the lines I actually personally carry in my spa. Now, it's only Canadian, but if you're a US winner, you get to get your hands on this little bad boy. It's a little bit of packs a punch. It's awesome. It is from Laboratoire Dr. Renault. So how can you enter to win these? All you have to do is participate in this training by commenting, asking a question, whatever it is. Got to throw something down in the comments. And then for bonus points, you'll get an extra entry if you share this live video out to your community. And we will be announcing the winner tomorrow inside of the Spa Boss Facebook group. And yeah, so it's open. So even if you're watching the replay, participate, because you will be entered to win one of these. So excited. All right. So again, I forgot my notebook, which is like the worst thing. If you know me, you know I write everything down in my notebook. And last night I was up because I know what I want to say, but I don't want to waste your time like I'm probably doing right now. But I was up till like 1:30 in the morning last night writing this perfect like setup of this call. It's at home. So I apologize if it's not as smooth as I intended last night. Doesn't matter. We're still going to get it done. Okay. So social media, you guys, like I said, everybody, or so many, I don't want to say everybody because that's not, can't possibly be accurate, but okay, just want to make sure that my actual, I thought there was a little technical glitch, but so many are having issues with this social media. So there's a few things that I wanted to talk about before I get into. So if you've already checked out the blog, you've already got the gist of the content. So I'm just here today, and so that's over. I'm going to link to it in the description after this video is over, so you can go and check out the blog. Also, if you want to get your free 45 days of social media cheat sheet, what you have to do to get that, go to www.spatemps.com/get-social. I'll also be dropping that link in the description as well, but www.spatemps.ca/get-social, and you are going, and it's just going to make your life a lot easier because I'm going to be prompting you for the next 45 days or however you want to use it for your social media. So all right, so one of the things about social media is that it's the long game. So, and I'm also going to talk about the 3 mistakes that I see business owners and spa owners making quite frequently. And so one thing, so let me just jump right into that. See, I'm getting scattered again. But number 1 mistake that that I see spa owners making all the time is that they are expecting that when they decide to show up, even if they haven't been present for a while, when they decide to show up, that they're just expecting their audience to be there automatically. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You can't just say, as soon as I decide to talk, you know, you just assume that people are going to listen. It doesn't happen that way in real life. So it's actually not going to happen that way in your social media strategy. So it is the long game, and you do have to stay consistent. So today we're talking about how to create killer content. In part 2, we're talking about how to stay consistent. Part 3 is going to be all about engagement and turning that engagement into sales. But so the first thing you need to do is create the content, okay? And you need to be showing up every day. I mean, the expectations of social media in order for it to be working for your business is that you're having to be showing up more and more often. I mean, arguably every day is going to be what is going to get your followers showing. So if you are consistent and you're showing up, and you are, even if you're not, and this is going to get into problem number 2, but if you show up consistently and are providing value to your clients, really making it about them and their needs and not about you and your needs and what you're selling all the time, then people are going to start to know, like, and trust you. I'm sure you've heard these before. A business that is going to have loyal customers, those loyal customers know you, they like you, and they trust you. And social media is what can do that for your business. So if you aren't showing up, and then randomly one time, and if you're not engaging, you're not consistent, you're not doing all of these things that I'm going to teach you how to do, when you decide to just randomly show up one day and say, hey guys, buy this, people are going to be like, I'm sorry, who are you? What are you doing? Like, you know, when people see you in their newsfeed, they see you, like, unless you're posting 25 times a day, and even then, when they see you, they're seeing you for a few seconds. They see you scrolling by. So how many times do you think you might need to be posting so people are seeing you scrolling by in order for them to actually remember you when they're ready to buy? Is it just one time? Is it just you throwing a promotion out there and then just assuming, hey, you know, if I offer it, they will come. If I build it, they will come. I've learned the hard way that this is not the case, especially online. It's too easy for people to turn away. Okay, so if that's making sense, drop an emoji awesomeness into the comments, so I know that that is making sense. Now, I don't actually have my eye on the comments the way I'm doing it because I know everything was backwards last week. So, okay, and if you can read this, no, it gets going down, so that's weird. So if you can read, no, it is backwards. I don't know what's happening. I'm going to figure out the whole backwards thing, but if you can read the words behind me, type the words you see behind me. So I know that I'm making some progress on the whole reversed thing. But actually, maybe because I'm seeing it reverse that you're not, I don't know, all this reflection stuff, crazy. But anyway, so the point is you need to be showing up all the time or a lot of the time in order for people to actually, respond and be ready to buy when you offer. So the mistake, in short, is that people are just not putting in the time, but expecting to reap all the rewards. Not going to happen. So it's just going to, it's going to turn you off. Mistake number 2 that I see spa owners making so often, and again, whoops, sorry, I'm just shaking all around here. Not just spa owners, but just business owners in general and social media, is that they're only post promotions or things that they want other people to do. Whatever it is that they're offering or whatever they're asked. So when you're selling all of the time on social media, one, it's called social media for a reason. Your audience that you're after most likely is on social media to be social, for fun, to engage with friends, engage with family. I mean, if you follow what Facebook has been changed and what it changed early on last year when it reprioritized in the organic news feed, which means not paid, so what's happening on your business page, like things that you're not paying for, they prioritize engagement. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute as to, what exactly that means. But they want you to be offering like genuine value. They want you connecting with your audience. They don't want you selling all the time, and your audience doesn't want to be sold to. In my experience, my social media, when I'm posting a promotion or I'm posting a special, does not do as well. People do not want to be sold to. If you do not want to be sold to on social media, Sashi, I gotta plan all these, and I did in my notes. I'm like, telling you what to put in the comments. But just drop a yeah, I hate being sold to in the comments, right? So nobody wants to be sold to. Your clients are no different. So if all you're selling is your products, promotions, or anything that you want people to do, people aren't going to pay attention. People are going to turn off. So which leads me to the third problem that I commonly see people making is that, if you're doing those first 2 things wrong, odds are you're getting frustrated. So the number 3 thing is that business owners just get frustrated that it's not working. So they just give up and they're like, ugh, whatever. And they don't try to get themselves back on the wagon. I mean, and I'm just as guilty as the next guy as the falling off the social media bandwagon, especially when I'm working on other people's social media. Sometimes I forget about my own. I never claim to be perfect. And it's so easy to do. So that's why if it's happened to you, don't feel bad about it. Just get back on the bandwagon, get back onto the social media train. And I'm going to be teaching you again. I'm going to teach you next week. We're going to get more into how to stay consistent and how to like plan it into your schedule. But I'm just kind of giving you like a bird's eye view right now, so you can kind of get a little bit of sneak peek of the whole picture. But you want to make sure that you are that you're posting good content, that you're staying consistent, you're not just selling all the time, and that you're not giving up when it gets hard, because you guys, it will get hard, especially if you're doing it yourself. Okay. And a lot of times it's not realistic to have other people or to hire somebody else to do your social media, especially when you're a small business. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's, that's like a whole conversation for another time. But when you're doing it yourself, it's hard. It is hard. It's such a simple thing, and it's supposed to seem effortless and flawless, but it's a challenge. So if you're doing any one of those things, you're going to set yourself up ahead right now by just not doing, like just shifting it. So if you're not showing up every day, after today, after you learn what we're going to be going over, just try to show up every day. Or if you're showing up not at all, let's just start with once a week. And maybe next week you're going to do a couple times a week. Just start to be present. Don't wait to be perfect. Just get out there. Okay. And number 2, if you're selling too much, stop selling. stop asking for something when you haven't even built a reputation with your clients yet. Just start like think of a question that they've asked you and answer it for them. Just, make them laugh. And I'm jumping the gun, but just start or just stop selling and start posting something that genuinely that they would like love and appreciate from you. And number 3, if you've just kind of fallen off the social media wagon, just choose to get back on. Just decide to get back on. Last week, when we were talking about goal setting, I said that you're always one decision away from getting one step closer to your goals. It really is that simple, because you can just decide to get back into your social media, wagon. Anyway, so those are the top 3 mistakes. So I'm going to run into, all of this next items that I'm going to go over are inside of the blog. So I do invite you to go over into the blog and check it out. But I'm going to go over it now because there's a few little tidbits that are, that I'm going to add on top of it as like bonus tidbits. But what I was going to say before about Facebook and Instagram, which basically they're the same thing. And those are like the 2 giants. There's other social media, and this can apply across the board. But especially with Facebook and Instagram. So we know that Facebook offers ads. So you see ads all the time too. That's how Facebook makes their money. They don't make money directly off of you engaging with your friends and family. Not directly. But so if they make their money off of people wanting to sell on Facebook, then they need to make sure that they have an audience that is willing to view those ads and buy whatever those ads are selling. If they don't have people there to buy what those ads are selling, people are not going to want to pay them to advertise on their platform anymore. That's a huge deal. We're all business owners here. So you know that you need to make money, right? So if people feel like they're just being sold to all the time and they're not engaging with this, what's happening around them, they are going to leave Facebook. And that is the last thing that Facebook wants to do. So Facebook has prioritized anybody that's creating great, engaging content for their clients. How do they know when somebody is providing great content that people are enjoying? It's because the content, and it changes all the time what they prioritize more, but whether people are liking the picture, whether they're sharing it, whether they're commenting, whether they're really basically that is, they're liking, sharing, commenting, tagging friends. The more activity that happens around your posts, the more likely Facebook is going to say, hey, this person is providing some pretty awesome content because their community is engaging with it. So I'm going to actually show that to more people because I want, obviously it's good. So if you, and this is the same thing, Facebook and Instagram, if people are engaging, if people are like paying notice to your, to the content that you're sharing, Facebook is going to share it to more people. Instagram is going to show it to more people. Reality is maybe about 20% of your audience on either platform is actually seeing what you post. So, that's a bit of a concern, obviously, because that what you're putting out there, not everybody's going to see. In order for more people to see it, it's got to be interesting. It's got to be engaging. It's got to not just be a sales pitch. So those are really, really important things. And that if you can understand that about Facebook and Instagram, then that is like a huge thing to keep in mind and will set you up for success. So you always want to be asking for people to engage with your content, like me asking you guys, comment below with whatever. So that way Facebook can see, okay, well, this is interesting. So people are going to still keep seeing this video. So last week when I posted a live video, and Facebook prioritizes live video. I mean, they love it. They love, they rank it high. They show it to more people, video in general as well. So new people were seeing that video for the next 24 hours on my page, but they were seeing it like it was for the first time. So not everybody that's following me on my Facebook business page saw the video or got alerted to the video as soon as it came on. Now, Facebook would want me to pay for that. So they're going to show it. Maybe they're going to say, okay, yeah, a lot of people commented. I think I think we got like 900 views or something. So Facebook started to show it to more people, and they kept showing it to people. But you have to realize Facebook is like the social media, I don't know, I want to say God or guru, but it's like that Facebook controls it all. So you kind of have to play by their rules. So hopefully that all made sense. So now I'm going to get into the points here. Okay, so the first thing you want to do once you start, just around creating content right now, you guys. So the first thing you want to do is do your research. Know who your audience is. How old are they? What interests do they have? What are they currently buying from you now? Or what do you think that they might want to be buying from you now? What brands are they loyal to? Just really dive into getting a very clear picture of who these people are, because then you're going to understand how to engage with them and create content that they're actually going to like. So you want to, and so one way to do this, depending on how many followers you already have, study your existing clients, whether they follow you on social media or not. So that's one thing you want to do, to say like, who are my current ideal clients? Who are my future ideal clients? Like if you're just starting out, you have to kind of imagine this person and create this vision of this person in your mind. But you can also go to your social media, if you have a following, and study your existing followers, and then look at who they're already following, and really kind of figure out, okay, so what are they responding to? Who do they like? Who are they following? What's important to them? It's just research. You just gotta kind of have to keep digging and digging and digging, and it's going to help you create your content. And okay, so number 2 is create original and unique content. So one of the things, all right, so if you, and I'm not saying you have to jump in and show up every single day in your social media right out of the gate. No, definitely not saying that. That's like deciding to like not be athletic at all and then go and run a marathon, especially if you're doing it on your own. So don't feel like you have to, but let's just say for a minute that you actually do want to do that is something that you feel is right for your business, to show up every single day. That's 365 days of content. And each post that you piece is only going to be shown to about 20% of your audience. So another kind of mistake that I see some people making too is that they go, it's kind of like dieting too, this type of year, where you kind of say, you know what, I'm going to go on this diet, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to get really healthy, I'm going to eat, I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to not eat this or that, or whatever it is. And they kind of go strong for a good, even if it's 30 days or 2 weeks or 2 months, whatever it is. And then eventually you just kind of, it gets really hard, it gets overwhelming. And for whatever reason, you end up just kind of like, you just lose that momentum. Same thing with social media. If you put if you put every ounce of your energy into content, and you're writing like essays every single day, and you're doing all your own graphics, and you're doing all of this, you're putting so much energy into it, you have to wonder, when is that going to end up tapping out? When are you just going to go like, oh my gosh, I just have nothing left in me? You have to realize that if you are planning 365 days of content, that you need to look at it like you're running well, maybe it is like running a marathon. I don't run, so that might not have been a great like analogy, because I know when I was a kid and I was in track and field, I was really good at the 100 meter. I was not bad at the 200, but beyond that, because I would just run my ass off and then like die at the end of the finish line. But like ask me to run the 1500 meter, I couldn't. But this is what you need to think about when it's your social media. You have to think about the fact that you are running the 1500 meter. So don't come out of the gates on fire and running as hard as you can, because you're eventually going to tap out. Have that slow run, keep consistent, slow and steady. And that's going to help you get to the long run. So one of the questions that was asked, and I feel like that now is a good time to answer, or part of the question, I'm going to refer back to it. And Carlene, if you're here, I'm referring to your question. So one of the things was having an issue around using stock imagery and you know, just kind of like curating other people's content. Not that that was your exact part of your question, but the stock images was kind of feeling not like authentic about using stock imagery. So again, when you have to post so many times in the year, you have to know when to leverage your resources. And there are really great free resources out there to use stock imagery for your business. Pexels, P-E-X-E-L-S, and Unsplash are probably my two favorite right now, and they're completely free. But here's the thing. You don't just grab all of these random stock images and throw them up onto your social media and really have no relevance and talk about something completely different than what's actually in the picture. You can make them authentic. One, it stretches out your timeline. So if you have original content and then you feed it in there and interweave it with curated content, meaning you are strategically posting other people's content, of course, giving credit when credit is due. So like you're sharing it on social media, you know, whatever the case is. But, you know, a lot of times on Instagram, you have to get permissions, but that's getting into the nitty-gritty details, which is not what we're doing here. But if you kind of interweave your curated content, stock imagery, and original content, over time, it's going to stretch out your efforts, and it's not going to impact your audience. So like in a negative way, especially if your captions, when it comes to using stock images, if you're authentically like engaging, like you're not just throwing up a image and then barely commenting. No, the uniqueness, the part about that post that's going to be you is how you talk about it in the caption. And the way I like to do it is I really like to tell a story. I like to get people engaging and using their mind and then seeing like the inspiration that they might see in the image, like so they can kind of feel the inspiration I had when choosing it, and they can do that through using the caption. So that's why, you know, everybody is different in their business as to what they want to do, what they want to use, you know, just in general. But to me, when you have so much content lying ahead of you over the next year, you gotta, you know, pick your battles, leverage your resources, and you know, just try to bring that authenticity in other ways. And you can get that when you plan around it. So use those resources for stock imagery. They're a really, really great resource. And so when you're looking to create content, look at what other people doing. What are, you know, what are other resources and this is going to lead into, it's going to lead, I'm losing my spot here. I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. It's kind of leading into number 4 actually, but you want to make sure or be sure to watch what other people are doing. You can use things like Google Alerts to keep alerting you as to what's trending on certain topics. Like just keep your eye out. And this kind of ties into the research as well. And be writing notes all the time. Always have a notebook, notebook if you like that, or your phone. So that way you can, anytime you get inspiration, anytime that something bubbles to the surface, you're writing it down. So you don't forget it. And then when it comes time to write posts, it's just a matter of like editing it and getting the image and just posting it. So you just need to be really open and aware of what's going on in the social media world around you, what's working, what's not, what are people responding to. I think there is value in following other people in the industry, even though, you know, people say, oh, I don't want people in my industry to follow me. You know, it's just a matter of growing business and kind of looking out for each other and learning from each other. But don't be afraid to have trial and error. When it comes to Instagram, a lot of times people, and this is going to lead into number 3, which is create a brand identity for your business. But in Instagram, the reality is people want to see, like if you want to gain followers, like if that's something that's high on your list, and it doesn't have to be, because we're going to get into a little bit more on how engagement is more important than that. But if you do want to gain followers, when you have a visually appealing curated feed, and I don't mean that it has to be perfect, but when it's visually appealing and it seems like it tells a story and it has a certain level of cohesiveness, it's going to catch the eye of people when they're checking out your profile, and they're more likely to hit that follow button. So how can you do that? It's less important on Facebook because there's not so much like a feed that you see all at once. It's like content by like, you know, it's not like Instagram, where you see all the pictures at once and it needs to look cohesive. But in Instagram, there is some level of that being like, you know, kind of necessary. So what I like to do is I like to really to identify what my key colors are in my brand. So for Spa Temps, and you can see it here in my little set that I was trying to make. So I have like green, lime green, doesn't look lime green there, but lime green, pink, blue, and orange. And so those are my key colors. Doesn't mean that everything I put in my feed has to be those colors. But when I'm searching my content or searching for images on Pexels or Unsplash, I'm looking for images that have bits and pieces of those colors in it, because I know it's going to tie together nicely on my feed. So establish your colors, their color schemes, and then also create a brand voice. Are you funny? Do you want to be serious? Do you want to be, you know, entertaining? Are you middle of the road? You just provide like information, like, you know, you gotta have to change it up. You have to figure out, generally speaking, what is that underlining voice of your brand that you want to come across. And then start, and even if you don't want to use a lot of stock images, I like using those stock image sites just to get inspiration, because sometimes the inspiration for your content can actually come from those images. So, and what I like to do is I will create like a vision board or a concept board in Canva. I love Canva. It is so helpful. But in Canva, I will create, so I'll see my color schemes. So I'll have all of my color codes. I'm getting really detailed. I'm sorry, you guys. If you have any questions, of course, ask these questions in the group or ask it after if you have a, you know, specific question, but I'll do my best to answer them. But anyway, so I put the images, I choose my fonts, and then so I try to stick to that guideline. It's my visual reference. My clients don't see it or anything, but I try to stick to that reference as I do my social media. And it's just going to be really helpful for you to create that feed. So number 4, again, is finding inspiration with your niche. We already talked about this a little bit, actually, number 2, but just kind of seeing what other people are doing. One really great way to, and a fairly easy way to find out what your audience is after is go, when you're standing in line at the grocery store, whether you buy them or not, look at the magazines look at the magazines that are on the shelves at the grocery store. So if you are targeting a woman between, like, you know, ages 40 to 60 or something, look at a magazine there that you think might be targeted towards them, or whatever the case is. That's just an example. And then whether you buy it or not, leaf through it and just see, you know, what are some of the headlines? What are they talking about? What do they, because like they have a whole team of people that are paid to figure out what their audience wants, especially in magazines. I mean, they don't, like, if they're still surviving in the paper industry when everything so much is going digital, you know, they're putting their research into it. So you can get creative in that sense. Look at magazines, and again, look at other businesses in your area, not just competitors, but like other businesses that share your audience. So for example, if you're a spa, you might want to see what a local yoga studio is showing, or maybe a local tea shop, or maybe a winery or something, and see what they're posting, because all of that stuff that they're putting out there likely is something that your audience is going to be interested in. And here's the other thing too, is, and it kind of ties into don't always be selling, but you don't always have to be posting things that are directly related to what you do. You just got to think about when your ideal client wakes up in the morning and they go on their social media, what do they want to be hearing about? They may not want to know about your facial protocols. They may not want to know all that, but they may want to know something else. And they think if you're the one to deliver that to them, if they want to know about, you know, I'm trying to think of an example that has nothing to do with spa, but is relevant to your audience, like, but kind of connected. If I think of it, I'll say it. I won't spend too much time trying to like scratch my chin trying to figure that out, a good example. But the point is, even if it has nothing to do with a spa or a beauty treatment or whatever your business offers, don't feel like you can't share it. Because if you're the one you're able to provide them that value, like for example, let's use the tea as example. If you're going to say it has nothing to do with your spa, but if you're going to say the top 5 teas that you should be drinking in the morning, that's going to start your day off right. You're providing value to them, but you're not talking about your treatments. You're not talking about your products. I mean, unless you sell tea or whatever, but you are providing them value, and then they're going to go, oh, cool. And they got that information from you, and they're going to remember that. So don't be afraid to post things that are not directly having anything to do with your business. Okay. So number 5, break down your content into categories. This is really helpful to creating content. Also, when it comes to staying consistent, and we'll talk more about that next week. But if you want to show up, so for 30 or 31 times in a month, but let's just say 30. So if you want to show up 30 times in a month, it's really daunting to sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna work on my social media, and I'm gonna go, oh my gosh, I've got 30 posts that I just need to like come up with right now. How impossible does that feel? It feels really impossible sometimes, because that's 30 things that when you start from 0 to 30 things, that's like sometimes just seems like, again, impossible. But what if you break it down into 5 or 6 subcategories? And if you're over on the blog, you can see I give you some category suggestions, that if you break it down into subcategories and you come up with 6 different categories, then all you have to do is come up with 5 posts per category. And suddenly, miraculously, it seems a lot easier to be able to put in, like, to come up with 5 posts about your products, or 5 posts about your services, or 5, come up with 5 quotes that are funny, or 5 quotes that are just like, about ingredients or whatever it is for your business. Again, go on over to the blog and you can see the list that I give. And that's going to help you create your content. Okay, so don't forget, you guys, this is where a good time to remind you is, if you want help with that in the categories, then go ahead and go to www.spottemps.ca/get-social to get your 45 days of social media. And in this guide, I'm basically prompting you and giving you the captions or captions inspiration, and you just kind of like edit it, but like the idea is done. You just have to fill in the blank. It's like Mad Libs for your social media for the next 45 days. And you can either use your own images, or you can go on over to Pexels or Unsplash or any other resource for images that you have to kind of fill in the blank. So I've really, made it a no-brainer. So do not forget to go and get that, cheat sheet. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm actually take a look at the comments now. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope I'm not going to look at the comments and you're going to be like, you've been muffled, or we haven't been able to hear you, or whatever. Mindset, right? Got to think more positively, but I just want it to be good for you guys. All right, so I see some comments. Beautiful. Oop, gotta turn it down. Okay, cool. Okay, so Stephanie's saying don't forget to post that link. I'm going to post all the links there. Yeah, Carlene says, going back to the whole tea thing, like your favorite tea during National Tea Month. Yeah, you might not be talking tea in your service room, but it's really relevant to your audience, so you should be the one to want to post that there. Okay, so and Carlene says, stressful when you want to follow a brand pattern, pulling hair. Yeah, absolutely. It can be crazy, but if you plan it in advance. So Carlene, okay, so you saw how I laid it out, right? That doesn't mean you have to stick to that all of the time, but if you kind of have a plan, so if your colors are pink, green, blue, and maybe white or whatever they are, then if you just have like a checkerboard in your mind, and you can just do this on paper. I'm trying to think of a good resource that you can do it online, but you can just say, okay, if I have my top 9 images are kind of what the most important are. That's what people check when they're looking through the bios. But if you go, okay, I want it to be like pink, blue, green, whatever, just instead of posting sporadically, post, which I'm not saying you are, but if you, instead of posting sporadically, plan ahead and just start kind of like gathering images, so that way you can kind of move them around so it looks good. Again, it doesn't have to look perfect. but you can kind of, there's more wiggle room instead of when you're posting something, you go, oh, I feel inspired to post something today, but wait a minute, it's blue when I just posted blue yesterday, so it doesn't make sense. And you kind of get, just, you need to take a deep breath and not let it overwhelm you so much, because at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. And this is one out of potentially 365 posts. If you screw up one post because it's not going to fall in line, you could post what you need to post. And if it bothers you that much, you can just delete it when it's not relevant anymore. Or you can just say like, hey, I'm not perfect. And reality is this is how it ended up. Don't let something like this stress you out. This is not worth your stress dollars. That makes sense. It's just not worth your time and energy to stress out that much about something like this. Just, you got to do your best and, follow, the guidance that I've given here, ask other questions. I know we're working together in the program, so like I can help you work through this, but this isn't something that I want you to be stressing on, because it's just, there's bigger things, bigger beasts to tackle than this. As long as you're consistent, which I know you have been, you know what, give yourself a pat on the back and just take it easy. Don't be so hard on yourself. But I'm going to go into actually your others. So there's a couple of comments in the group. So I'm just going to go away from here for a sec. Sorry, I'm just, when I say that, because I'm in my phone, I'm looking at the page and then I'm going back into the group to get the questions here. All right, where were you in here? I think I asked some of them. I had a couple questions come through the group, so I'm going to do that. Just take a little look-see. Okay, so where was it? Oh my gosh, it's like sunk into the abyss. That's one thing that drives me crazy about Facebook, is you can't find out what it was. But I think a big part of your question was how to stay consistent in the news feed, how to not always use stock imagery because you don't like it. So the biggest thing, and I did speak to that already a little bit, but when it comes to stock industry, not lower your standards, but just kind of lower, don't have such high expectations when you have 365 days of content. When you have to post for 365 days, not each and every post is going to be the best ever. Okay, even, I don't even know if this is accurate, but even like, great artists aren't going to be, not every single piece they put out is going to be, the best piece they've ever done. It's just not possible. So, and I know it's easy for badass, hardworking people like you to want to have that every single day. But the reality is it's not, so you got to not be hard on yourself. So I hope, let me know in the comments if you're still here and watching, if I've answered your question a little bit, but enough, or if there's any segments I've missed. But I think you're on the right track. I think you just need to not be so hard on yourself. So the next question I had in the group was Instagram. How do you actually engage on Instagram? How does it actually work? So we're going to be going a lot more into engagement in week 3. And actually, I think we met the post. So engagement is key. So just in general, because we missed number 5, I think, but engagement in general, it's like if somebody comes to your party, you need to greet them at the door. You need to welcome them in. You need to offer them a drink. You need to see if they need anything. You need to ask them how they're doing. You need to catch up. So all of those things. Imagine your social media is you hosting a party. So whether this is Facebook or whether it's Instagram, I know sometimes Instagram can be, seems like just like a kind of a new space and very different than Facebook, but it all applies. If somebody, and this is what I'm going to challenge you guys to do, somebody likes your content, go in and like their content. If somebody follows you, that is a big gesture. And this is hard, especially if you get a lot of people following you fairly consistently, which that's a good problem to have. But if it's manageable, reach out, not with a bot. Personally reach out to people that follow you and say, hey, thanks, I love connecting with you. And somehow maybe ask them a question, mention something about their feed, whatever it is, but engage with them. If they are sharing your content, show them that you appreciate the fact that they're sharing. Respond to their comments. Just treat it as if you just hosted a party and everybody that's coming and engaging with your content, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and just engage back with them. So there's like the 10% rule or the 10x rule. So if you want 10 likes on your photos, you should be expecting to go out and liking at least 100 other images just to kind of get that back. If you want 3 comments, you should be commenting more than 4 words on 30 other posts. So I don't mean don't just drop an emoji, don't just, say 1 word. If it needs to be meaningful for it to register. So you need to aim when you're commenting on somebody else's post for it to be more than 4 words. If you're posting just to get their attention, people aren't going to respond back. If you just drop like a heart in their comments, they're not likely going to respond back to that. But if you aim to say more than 4 words in your comment, odds are they're going to listen and check out, and they want to know what you had to say because they care. They put it out there for a reason. So they care if you were showing that that you care. So when people follow you, you don't have to follow them back. You can if that feels right, but you don't have to follow them back. But just engage with them, thank them for following, ask them a question, get them. Like the whole point is you want to almost try to on some level, make friends with the people in your social media circle. So talk to them, get them to ask questions for you, because if you have this repertoire of back and forth conversation, and you have to do that by giving call to actions, by asking questions, and just asking for what you want to in return, then it's going to help them start to increase that know, like, and trust factor. And if people like your stuff, go in and like their comments, just be active. Don't just sit back and be like, here's my stuff, and just hope that people engage with you and then not reward them when they do. It's a 2-way street. So, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this next week, but you just need to plan your time. Don't expect to be in your social media all day. It's easy to do that, but you should try not to. So go in there and schedule 15 minutes a day, maybe 15 minutes at the beginning of your day, middle of your day, end of your day, depending on how much you're wanting to engage and how much you're needing to do with your social media. And then just leave it at that. So again, just if somebody shows you some appreciation, like commenting, following, sharing, tagging a friend, respond back to them authentically, and you got it. Instagram does not have to be complicated. Facebook doesn't have to be complicated when it comes to engagement, especially. All right, so I'm going to go back and see if there's any other questions in there, but thank you guys so much for being here today. It was a little bit long today. I'm sorry for that, but I really genuinely hope that you got value out of this. If I left any questions unanswered when it comes to content, jump on over to the Spa Boss Money Mindset Marketing Facebook group. I'm going to be putting all the links up here in the description right after this live is over. And don't forget to comment here today, whether you're watching the replay or not, so you can have your chance to win either another True V Beauty, it's kind of glary, lip balm, or this little Dr. Renault serum and cream sampler kit, and you get an extra entry when you share it out. All right, just gonna go here to see if there's anybody else. I see some more comments coming in, so I'm just gonna give a quick check to make sure that I haven't missed anybody. Yeah. It's going slow on me. So if you've typed a question, you can hang around, but I don't know why this isn't working on me. Okay, oh, there. Sometimes technology is a little crazy. Oh, and I just realized everything is straight behind me. Bonus. I was like stressing this week going, how can I make sure you guys can read everything? Yikes, I don't know why I can't see this. I'm gonna try to go in a different way. I just don't want to leave any questions unanswered. Sorry, guys. My phone's not showing me the comments. If you guys have to run, thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to spend another minute to try to get to these comments. But if not, if you need to leave now, have an amazing day. And I want to hear over in the Facebook group, you know, how you're making out with your content. Go download the cheat sheet, www.spottemps.ca/get social. And then I want you guys, like, let's get the conversation going. Let's help each other and support each other inside of the Facebook group. And so next week, we're diving all into staying consistent, which is like the hardest thing. You can get really inspired and get really good with the content, but consistency is key. So I can't wait to go over that. You'll see it opening up or released onto the blog on Monday. And then again, we'll be here at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. I cannot wait to see you guys again. And please share this out to anybody that you think might benefit from this. And like you guys probably noticed that, yes, spa industry is my jam, but anybody could really benefit from this, you know, social media that has a business or has, you know, clients that they want to grow, you know, whatever it is. It's kind of, it kind of is a little bit generic today. So I'm not sure why I can't see the comments, you guys. All right, so I'm going to sign off. I'm not wasting any more time here. Wasting is not the right word. I will see you guys next week, and I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with the comments so that way I can try to answer them over in the group. I will see you there. I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.